Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Vedic astrology coach, Rarit Kapoor, and welcome to my channel, The Legit Astrologer. In my channel, I make videos on Vedic astrology, and most importantly, I make videos on transits and how these transits impact different ascendant signs as per the Vedic astrology system. I use the sidereal calculation method. In the recent times, I have made a series of videos on Jupiter's transit in the sign of Taurus. Recently, I've also made a video on the month of June and predictions related to all ascendant signs. You can check out these videos on my channel and learn about yourself. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, hit the bell icon, share this video with your friends. In case you wish to book a personalized consultation with me, you can check out the link to my website and the process of reaching out to me. This video is about Mars's transit or Mangal's transit in the sign of Aries. Mars is moving out of the sign of Pisces and entering the sign of Aries, which is its Mool Trikona sign. It is the office space of Mars or Mangal. Mangal is entering Aries on 1st of June, in the beginning of June itself, and it is going to stay in the sign of Aries till 12th of July. This kind of transit only happens once in about an year and a half, and it is an opportunity transit for all of us, because understand one thing, there are two kinds of signs that Mars rules. One is Aries and the other is Scorpio. Scorpio is the own sign of Mars, which is its home space. Aries is the Mool Trikona sign of Mars. How it is differentiated compared to Scorpio is that this is the office space of Mars. Secondly, Scorpio is a water element. Aries is fire element. It is pure fire, and Mars is a fiery planet. So from a Tattva perspective, this is one of the most comfortable position or a placement for Mars is concerned, and therefore it applies very well to the transit as well. Since it's an office space of Mars, Mars is on duty, he is at task, and it is time to deliver some phenomenal results. Now during this transit, Mars will spend time in two different nakshatras from 1st of June till 19th of June. It is going to stay in Ashwini nakshatra, which is ruled by Ketu. During this time, wherever the sign of Scorpio falls in your chart is likely to demonstrate some sort of positive results, because this is where Ketu gets exalted. On 19th of June, it will move to Bharani nakshatra, and it is going to stay in Bharani nakshatra till 8th of July. During these days, wherever the sign of Pisces falls in your chart is likely to demonstrate positive results, because this is where Venus or Shukra gets exalted. Who is going to have a maximum impact of this transit? If you are running through a dasha antardasha of Mars or Ketu, Venus, even Jupiter, Mercury and Saturn, you are likely to be impacted by this transit. Therefore, a large number of people are going to have an impact of this important transit. I call this the transit of summer, because summer is going to be at its peak during this time. There's going to be a lot of firepower, there's going to be a lot of energy. So you understand, Mars rules the natural first house of the Kalpurusha Kundli and the natural 8th house of the Kalpurusha Kundli. It is the ruler of yourself, your overall body, vitality, immunity, intelligence. We see a lot of great things from the first house itself. Your courage, determination, also logic is something which Mars rules. One of the things that I have seen in my experience, wherever Mars sits in your chart, it makes you impulsive with regards to matters related to that houses. It somehow makes you lose your patience, or people try to run after those things and make very quick decisions as far as matters related to that bhava or that house is concerned. And this is also one of those houses where there is maximum fire, maximum energy as far as the overall chart is concerned. Now interestingly, throughout the transit, Mars will be under the aspect of Saturn. Saturn is moving pretty strong in the sign of Aquarius. Later, towards the end of June, it will also go retrograde. Saturn will be aspecting Mars by its third aspect. Its third aspect is the aspect of growth. However, Saturn as a planet does not like Mars. Mars, on contrary, likes Saturn. The reason for that is Mars gets exalted in the sign of Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn gets debilitated in the sign of Aries, which is ruled by Mars. Therefore, Saturn does not like Mars. Saturn's third aspect on Mars is going to somehow restrict its capabilities, though it is the aspect of growth, but somehow we would need to put in a lot of efforts in order to work on significations related to Mars in order to make the most of this transit. It calls for discipline, it calls for being organized wherever, whichever house this transit is happening, and I'm going to talk about all ascendant signs, how to read this transit, how you could interpret some simple remedies and tips for you. At a mundane level, I have been doing research with regards to this particular transit where Mars is moving in Aries and being aspected by Saturn. This kind of transit happened about 30 years ago. At that point in time, Mars was also conjoined Ketu in the sign of Aries. It was far more complex and problematic at that point in time as it is in the current times. But a few things that you must note and watch out for during this time. I suspect and anticipate from a regional perspective, South America is an area of concern, so is Southeast Asia. Mars rules Bhumi or land. It is making a transit in the first house, being aspected by Saturn by its third aspect, by its third drishti, which is going to shake the ground. Therefore, I could say that there could be some seismic activities, earthquakes, volcano eruptions, either in Southern America or the other area of interest would be Southeast Asia. So over the next couple of months, there could be earthquake related activities or some volcanic disturbances in these two areas. It might not be as severe as 1994 June and July when a similar transit was in place, but it could still have some significant damage. The other area from a geographic point of view that needs to be of attention is Iran and the surrounding countries of Iran within the Middle East region. So this area, this geographic location could see some sort of terror attack or bombing during this time. It could happen somewhere between June and July, so we must be cautious, careful, and I hope it does not cause any severe damage or a huge loss of life in such incidences. Let's pray to God and let God help bring peace across the world. The third prediction that I'd like to make is, which is quite common in nature as well because summer is around the corner, but this year during June and July, due to certain transits that are there in place, see Saturn is wind element, Mars is fire element, a windy airy planet aspecting a fiery planet in the fiery sign of Aries, which leads to growth, expansion of fire related things across US, North America, also Europe and a lot of parts of Asia can see record breaking summer or heat during the month of June itself. We would not have to wait for July, but within June, temperatures in some of these areas can go beyond 50 degrees, and we might see in the news in the next few weeks that there are record breaking temperatures in some parts of the world, particularly the Western world and also Central Asia. These two areas are going to be the area of concern. As far as climate changes and temperatures are concerned, the mercury is going to be at the rise and several countries can experience heat waves, very strong heat waves. This could be across Europe, this could be across the US. Some of the central and eastern and even western states within the US can see record breaking temperatures in the month of June itself. Now Mars during its transit is aspecting three signs. It is aspecting the sign of Cancer by its fourth special aspect, which is a 100% aspect. It is aspecting the sign of Libra by its seventh aspect, which is only a 50% aspect. It is also aspecting the sign of Scorpio by its 100% eighth aspect. So if you have prominent planets in the sign of Aries, Cancer, Libra, Scorpio, you are likely to be impacted by this transit. Mars's fourth aspect is about protection. It is the drishti of Raksha. It talks about what is being protected during this time, and I'm going to talk about different ascendants and try to explain you what is being protected in your chart. And the eighth aspect is all about how long these significations are going to be protected, where this protection is coming from. This is something which is extremely important to understand about special drishtis or special aspects of Mars and what it really means for us. Now let's talk about how this transit is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendant signs. At a physical level, you must read this transit from your ascendant sign. If you want to read this transit only at a mental level, then you can also refer to the moon sign, but I prefer you to read this from your ascendant sign. Let's start with Aries ascendants. For Aries ascendants, Mars is the ruler of ascendant, your Lagna or the first house, which is the sign of Aries. Mars or Mangal also rules the sign of Scorpio, which is your 8th house. So Mars rules the first house and the 8th house of your chart. This Mars is making a transit in your first house itself. Being the Lagnesh or Lord of the Ascendant, it is the most important planet for Aries ascendant. So Lagnesha or Ascendant Lord is one of the most important planets for any ascendants. Now this Mars rules yourself, your body, your overall personality, immunity. We see intelligence from the first house. This is where the brain sits. This is where our maximum decision making capability and potential lies. This is a most important placement as far as the overall well-being is concerned from house related matters. Mars also rules 8th house, which is the house of Ayush or longevity. It is the Randra Bhava. We also see transformation, sudden changes, sudden ups and downs as far as 8th house is concerned. It is the house of secrets, deep dark desires, unknown territories, unknown places. Being second from the 7th house, it is also called the Mangalya Bhava. Therefore, Mars plays a very important role in marriage and harmony as far as your overall passion is concerned, because it has been given the natural lordship of the 8th house, which is second from the 7th house. There are a lot of astrologers who fearmonger in the name of Mars being with people, especially if they're Mangalic or Mars has an influence on their 7th house. But then it brings and instills a lot of passion in an individual. It is very important as far as auspiciousness is concerned after marriage. Your Lagna Lord making a transit in the first house is an opportunity for you once in about an year and a half, where you need to maximize. There is Agni that is sitting in your ascendant. However, you will have to put in a lot more efforts, because Saturn's third aspect on Mars is somehow trying to suppress things. It is also causing delay in matters related to Mars. One thing that you have to do is, as far as the remedy is concerned, you have to keep yourself hydrated. Drink plenty of water, at least 5 to 6 liters of water each and every day, to channelize this energy and the firepower that is there within you. This is most important. Your decision making capability is going to be quite good during this time. This is pretty good as far as transformation is concerned. There could be sudden changes at your workplace or related to your relationship. So that is something which also needs a lot of focus during this time. For those who are looking forward to getting married or having a relationship, this could be potentially a favorable time. If you have any specific investment related decisions, real estate related decisions, or buying some assets, or even purchasing a vehicle, this could be a potentially favorable time in case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive. Mars will be aspecting your 4th house by its 4th special aspect, the sign of Cancer. So you need to protect your happiness, the space where you feel most protected. Do things that make you feel happy. Pick up a hobby, because these things are going to be protected. These things are going to bring a lot of peace and harmony in your life, and this protection is coming from your 8th house. Any sudden change is going to eventually make you comfortable. So be change ready, accept that and embrace it in order to move forward. This is quite a fiery transit for you, and you need to ensure that you're energized all through the day. Another simple remedy for you would be walk as much as you can, count your steps, and try to work out, exercise, do anything that you like. Either you could do yoga, go for a walk, go for a run, exercise in the gym, because these are certain activities that Mars loves. Mars loves to stay active all throughout the time, and this is the kind of day routine which you must have during this time. One thing that you have to be quite careful of is that watch your ego and also the firepower that is there within, and especially in terms of dealing with people who you have a relationship with or at your workplace, you have to be careful with your speech and what you say and how you say. So this is something which you have to be extremely cautious of. Overall, I feel it is an exciting transit. It is a good transit for you, and I wish you the very best. Let's now talk about Taurus ascendants. For Taurus ascendants, Mars becomes the ruler of the 7th house and the 12th house, and this Mars is making a transit in the 12th house itself in the sign of Aries. So Mars for Taurus ascendants is more of a neutral graha. However, it plays a very important role in relationship matters, because it rules your 7th house, which indicates those people who are opposite to you. It is the house of peace as well as war. We see relationship, spouse, any sort of business that you have, any kind of partnership that you have. Mars also rules your 12th house of higher self-consciousness, your level of awareness, your ability to give others, help others, and why are you there in this world? What is your higher, greater purpose? We see spirituality from the 12th house. So it has a kind of a dual role, which makes it quite complicated. On one hand, it rules relationship. The other hand, it also rules isolation. So therefore, Mars's placement for Taurus ascendants is quite essential in terms of understanding how their relationships will be. Now this Mars is making a transit in your 12th house. Now 12th house Mars is not considered very auspicious, but this Mars is making a transit in its Mool Trikon sign of Aries, which is causing a Viparita Yoga in transit. Circumstances and situations might not favor you. It might go against you. Eventually you will rise. Also remember that during this transit, this Mars is being aspected by Saturn by its third aspect, which is trying to suppress the energy of Mars, because Saturn does not like Mars. Now Saturn is a Yoga Karaka planet for you. It is making a good transit. So if you do any remedy related to Saturn during this time, that could be quite favorable for you in order to channelize this Mars appropriately. The other remedy that you must do during this time is make sure that you have good 8 hours of sleep and stay away from any kind of indulgences. Avoid impulsive decisions as far as 12th house matters is concerned. Otherwise, you could go to a hospital, you could be sick, or you could have other repercussions as far as your decision making towards indulgence is concerned. So stay away from it. Have a very balanced routine and a balanced diet all through the day. Watch your sleep. So if you get a good night's sleep, you will be energized all through the day. Put all your energy and attention in spiritual activities. It is a perfect time to do yoga, sadhana, meditation. You will have a lot of energy and you will get great thinking capacity during this time. This Mars is aspecting your third house by its fourth special aspect. What is getting protected during this time? Third house is the house of efforts. It is the house of valor. So you will see yourself to be more courageous during this time in order to take some important decisions that are concerned. Your sibling, if you have a younger sibling, they will play a very important role, or you would play a very important role in terms of building certain relationships or establishing better relationships with them. Your communication and also creative pursuits are going to be put at test during this time. So these are some of the things which you can look out for. Now Mars's another aspect will be on the 6th house, which is the 7th aspect, which is only 50%. So your daily routine would require a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm and firepower during this time. Now most importantly, the 8th aspect will be on your 7th house. So you must listen to your spouse during this time, either your partner, spouse, or any people who you are close with, those who are opposite to you. Particularly these people could be also at your workplace. Become a good listener during this time. Listen with energy and also attention. Try to empathize with the situation, because these people are going to play a very important role in order to protect your significations and make you more courageous in terms of making certain decisions, increasing your valor quotient. So this is the kind of support that you would need. In case you have a mentor, great, because if you listen to them, take their advice, you could make some good breakthrough decisions during this time. Overall, I see this as a mixed transit for you, but then situation would be opposite. Eventually you will rise of those circumstances, and I wish you the very best. Let's now talk about Gemini ascendants and how Mars's transit is going to be for Gemini ascendants. For Gemini ascendants, Mars is a potent malefic planet because it rules your 6th house and the 11th house. 6th house is the house of enemies and also Shadripus, your enemies of the mind as well, and also some external enemies. 11th house, since it is 6th from the 6th house, it also represents enemies. So Mars creates a lot of obstacles and increases enmity for Gemini ascendants in case the Mars is weak placed. Now this Mars is making a transit in your 11th house itself in the sign of Aries. Now this is where Mars is pretty strong, and any planet, particularly being a malefic, does best when it is in the 11th house. So therefore, from a position perspective, this transit without a doubt is a positive transit. However, this Mars is being aspected by Saturn, who is making a good transit in your 9th house, and Saturn is aspecting it by its 3rd aspect. So somehow Saturn will try to suppress this energy of Mars. So one thing that you have to be careful of is this time is for you to expand your network of friends, network of followers, relationship. The more extroverted you behave, even if you are introvert, try to go out in the open, try to move out of your comfort zone. This is the need of the hour for you. You need to step out of your comfort zone, you need to voice your opinions, you need to somehow use all your energy and enthusiasm to counter opposition you might be receiving during this time. This is most important for you because Mars rules competition for you. It rules enemies, it rules health, it rules your overall well-being. It also plays a very important role in job related matters. So you could have some sort of gains as far as the next 1 or 2 months is concerned. If in case you're expecting a bonus, increment, this could be a potentially favorable time because it is creating positive circumstances as far as income related matters are concerned. So there could be certain flow of income. Now you must understand that Mars is making a positive transit in the 11th house. However, it is a potent malefic for Gemini ascendants. So you will have to work a lot on enhancing these significations. Exercise, eat right, and try to be as active as you can all through the day. Mars is aspecting your 2nd house by its 4th special aspect, which means you have to watch your diet, watch what you eat. It is going to be protected, the food that you eat, your family, your speech, watch that out. Try to be as soft and polite as you can because this is really being the focus of the hour, or it is being protected. Your wealth is being protected. Where this protection is coming from? It is coming from the 6th house, which is your daily routine, which is the opposition. So opposition, if you have, it will be in favor of you. It might let you down in the first few days of this transit, but later towards the end of June, early July, I see this as a favorable transit by the placement of Mars, which is in the 11th house. So this is something which you must understand and watch out for. It's also aspecting your 5th house by its 7th aspect, which is only a 50% aspect. So put your energy, enthusiasm in planning for the future. Any mantras that you use, or if you worship Hanuman, use mantras related to Hanuman, Lord Kartikeya or Lord Shiva. You could be highly benefited during this transit, and over the next couple of months you can also try and do Rudra Abhishek as well, which could be extremely favorable for you. Overall, I see this as a positive transit. However, the first few days could be challenging for you. You might have to face some delays. Stay patient, be resilient. God bless you. Let's now talk about Cancer ascendants. For Cancer ascendant, Mars is an important planet because it rules one Trikona house, triennial house, and one Kendra or the quadrant house. Mars is the ruler of the 5th house of the chart and the ruler of the 10th house of the chart. One common factor between 5th house and 10th house is kingdom, Rajya. These are dominant houses. These houses and its lord, if favorably placed, can take a person to great heights or put that person in an authoritative position. Therefore, Mars becomes a Yogakaraka or the most favorable planet for Cancer ascendants. This Mars is making a transit in the 10th house itself. Let's talk about Mars's lordship. It rules future, progress, which is 5th house, your creativity, mantras. This is where we see mantras. So in case you have a favorably disposed Mars in your chart, mantras will always work for you, yantras will always work for you. Otherwise, it would be challenging. Regardless of whatever mantra you use, you will not get results as far as your well-being is concerned. Mars also rules your 10th house, which again represents kingdom, Rajya. It is all about work, progress, your actions in the society. 10th house plays a very important role in our sustenance because this is the house where we work. We do something in order to survive, sustain in this world, in order to get some food on our plate and also for our loved ones. Therefore, Mars plays a very important role. This Mars is making a transit in the 10th house itself. Remember one thing, that this kind of transit only comes about once in a year and a half. Mars gains directional strength or is Digbali in the 10th house. Therefore, there are blessings of the Devatas during this time, and it is a perfect time for you to maximize as far as significations are concerned. One thing that you have to remember is you need to be absolutely 100% or maybe 200% energized at your workplace from the morning through the evening, whatever number of hours you spend at your work, even if you work from home or you travel or you have a desk job, regardless of what work you do, which involves meeting people or of course selling products or technology, you have to be absolutely energized all through the day. This is something which Mars demands. There's going to be a lot of fire in your 10th house. In case you're looking forward to having a new opportunity, a new job or a change, this could be a potentially favorable time. However, you need to present yourself in a way that you're a person with energy. You do not need to focus a lot on knowledge related matters, but attitude is something which matters a lot. And if you come across as a person who has a lot of energy, a lot of passion, enthusiasm, other people will like you. They would like to offer you something and they would like to help you as well during this time. So it is quite a positive transit and an opportunity transit as far as Cancer ascendants are concerned. In case you've had some delays or some bad news in the last few months, or you had some setbacks, this is the time to rise up. This is the time to act at your potential, at your best during this time. Now this Mars will be aspecting your ascendant by its 4th aspect, so it is protecting you, yourself, your brain, your intelligence. Your decision making would be pretty good during this time. So if you have important decisions, auspicious work, anything new that you're starting, this is the perfect time to do it. Mars will also be aspecting your 4th house by its 7th aspect, which is only a 50% aspect. So relationship with your mother and mother's health could be of a concern, and also at the same time those things which make you feel happy. This Mars would like you to step out of the comfort zone and do things which make you feel uncomfortable, or those things that are different. This Mars will also be aspecting your 5th house by its special aspect. How long are you going to be protected? It is of course dependent on your future. Your children are going to play an important role. Your creativity is going to play an important role in your decision making. So use your power of imagination as far as decisions are concerned, and also be very much futuristic. Mantras are going to protect during this time. Any mantras that you use are going to be beneficial for you over the next month, 1.5 months. What specific mantra? That is completely dependent on the time period and of course your overall horoscope. But overall, I see this as a very positive transit. It is an opportunity transit, and I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Leo ascendants. For Leo ascendants, Mars becomes an important planet. It has got two kinds of roles for Leo ascendants. One, it is a Yoga Karaka planet because it rules your 4th house. 4th house of comfort, those people or places where you feel most protected, your home, your mother, your homeland, your assets, real estate, the kind of properties that you have and what all you own in this world. And it also rules your 9th house of Bhagya, fortune, long journeys, father or father figure, your higher learning. This is a very spiritual house. It also represents our lineage. It represents our righteousness, our decisions, and that thing which is right in nature, the path that we all must choose to take. It is a dharma house. It is the highest dharma trikona. Therefore, Mars becomes a Yoga Karaka, or the most important planet for Leo ascendants. On contrary, Mars also is the Badakesha, because 9th house is the Badak Sthan for Leo ascendants. Now, whether it will act as Yoga Karaka or Badakesh and when those results are going to be there, this is understood by studying the placement of Mars in the natal chart and the kind of connections that it is making. But in the transit, Mars is making a transit in your 9th house in its Mool Trikon sign of Aries itself. So your 5th lord is coming in the 9th house, which is forming a yoga. Your 9th lord is coming in the 9th house, which is again forming a nice yoga during this transit. So this is, from a placement perspective, quite a positive transit, because it will test your decision making capabilities. It will in a way put a lot of fire as far as your fortune is concerned, which is favorable during this time. Remember, Saturn is aspecting Mars by its 3rd aspect from the 7th house. Now you might be facing certain delays as far as certain things are concerned with regards to important events, important works. These next 2 or 3 months can really speed up the things for you, and it is that kind of an opportunity as far as this transit is bringing. But you will have to pay a lot of attention and improve significations as far as Mars is concerned. So if you eat food items related to Mars in order to further strengthening it, it could be beneficial for you. So you could eat some red fruits, you could also eat red pulses or red gram, and any kind of grains are also associated to Mars. Spices are also associated to Mars, so you can consume some spices as well in case you have the appetite for it, right? So that is more from the purpose of strengthening and how to do it. Now understand, Mars from 9th house is going to be aspecting your 12th house by its 4th special aspect. So your spirituality is being protected during this time, your sleep is being protected, your sleep will foster your well-being, so make sure you get a good night's sleep during this time. Your higher self consciousness, this time is to sit down, jot down your strengths and how you can leverage your strengths to the best of your capabilities. Mars is also aspecting your 3rd house by its 7th aspect. It is only a 50% aspect, but during this time, if you find yourself a mentor, a guru, a teacher, or someone who you look up to, get some advice and message and try to incorporate that in your decision making. You could make some breakthrough decisions during this time. Now 4th house is being aspected by the 8th aspect of Mars. So your mother is going to play a very important role in protecting your spirituality, your comfort space, the assets that you have, people from your homeland, or those things that make you feel happy, that make you feel content. Your overall environment in the household is going to play a very important role in these matters. Another remedy that you must do during this time is to declutter your house, clean up your house, donate those old things which you do not need. It could be, and if you try and do that, you will find there are a lot of unnecessary things that are there in your house which you do not need during this time. The second remedy for you would be to work in your kitchen during this time. Be an equal contributor regardless of your gender, and keep your ego aside in order to do any kind of work all by yourself. So if you keep your ego aside, if you practice humility, this is going to be a positive transit for you. Otherwise, it could create obstacles and it could bring in challenges as far as some of its significations are concerned. And then another important remedy would be to worship Ganesha, worship Ganpati, because he is the remover of all obstacles. I wish you the very best and hope this transit is good for you. Now let's talk about Virgo ascendants. For Virgo ascendants, Mars becomes a potent malefic planet because of its lordship. It rules your 3rd house and it rules the 8th house. Now 3, 6, 8 and 12 houses are not considered auspicious houses as far as the lordship is concerned. So Mars here rules your 3rd house, which is the house of valor, courage. Mars likes valor, Mars likes courage. So this lordship is more of a neutral lordship for Mars as far as its signification is concerned. It also represents younger siblings, your communication and the kind of efforts that you put. This house also represents growth because it is an Upachaya Bhava. Mars also rules 8th house, which is the house of secrets, desires, unforeseen events, unforeseen circumstances, sudden changes and ups and downs, sudden transformation, deep level transformation, occult, the knowledge of past as well as future. This is also something which is seen from the 8th house, hidden sciences, research related subjects. Okay, so it is a lot of mysterious house, right? This Mars is making a transit in the 8th house itself, so in the sign of Aries. So from the lordship perspective, it is your 8th lord making a transit in the 8th house. This Mars is creating a Viparita Yoga in transit, which means circumstances could go wrong, could go opposite. It will bring you down to your knees, but eventually you will be able to rise if you improve the significations of Mars and if you look up to your Lagna Lord Mercury and try not to stay in your shell. Be out there in the open, try to communicate and interact with people. Now those people who are married or are in a relationship, your relationship is going to be the focus of the hour during this time, because 8th house of the Bhava is Mangalya Bhava. So we see relationship auspiciousness from the 8th house itself. So this is going to be the focus of the hour for you. Try to protect your marriage, try to improve your relationship. This is an opportunity window for you. Now this is something you must understand. Transformation is the key, because Mars is going to bring in the transformation, either the easy way or the hard way. Then it is your choice, because remember, this Mars is also being aspected by Saturn by its third aspect, so it is going to suppress the energy of Mars. So you would need a lot more energy, you would need to be hydrated all through the day, so make sure that you drink plenty of water, because Mars' 7th aspect is on your 2nd house. Though it's a 50% aspect, but it's a fiery aspect. You must ensure that you drink plenty of water. You also must ensure that you're very careful of your speech and your tone of voice, particularly because the words that you express or you use, you will not be able to take them back. So be very cautious, be very careful in dealing with other people. If you are particularly dealing with your clients, or if you're in such kind of business, make sure that you show enough respect to the people that you're working with and manage your tone accordingly. This Mars will also be aspecting your 11th house by its 4th special aspect. So your income is being protected, your gains are being protected, all the material comforts and friends, they are being protected during this time. You could build some very credible relationships during this time by your consultative skills, by your advice to others, which could be good as well for them to make some good decisions. And Mars is aspecting your 3rd house by its 8th aspect. So in case you have a younger sibling, he or she could play a very important role in order to help you gain more. Your efforts, valor and courage would be very important to decide whether you would gain or you would lose. So if you have plenty of courage, valor, which you would need during this time, right, because you might come to the stage that you might be feeling low, step out of your comfort zone, go out in the open, interact with people. Overall, I say it is a mixed transit, but I wish you the very best. Let's now talk about Libra ascendants and how Mars' transit in the sign of Aries is going to have an impact on Libra ascendant signs. Now for Libras, Mars becomes the ruler of the 2nd house, which is the sign of Scorpio, and the ruler of the 7th house. So Mars plays a very important role in harmony within the family and also relationships or marriage. So it rules these 2 houses, because this is what your Lagna Lord Venus has given the responsibility to Mars. Mars rules family, which is the 2nd house. Now before family, it is the house of storage or consumption, where or what you consume and what do you store and who do you share your income or your food or things that you have with you. You share it with your family. So this is most important as far as 2nd house matters are concerned. Therefore it is the house of wealth as well, right? And Mars also rules the 7th house, which is marriage, partnership, relationship, harmony, those people who are opposite to you. It is also the house of business, it is the marketplace. Mars is making a transit in your 7th house itself in the sign of Aries. Now Mars is considered Maran Karaka as far as in the 7th house it is concerned, because it is not an auspicious placement. Mars is losing its significance if it is placed in the 7th house. But on the contrary, here it is in the sign of Aries. So even if it's in Maran Karaka, this is a potentially favorable transit for you, because the matter of the fact is, if you're in a relationship or if you have a spouse, that person could really go out of the way to support you during this time. It will bring in a lot of passion, lot of energy as far as your relationship pursuits are concerned, your ability to deal with others are concerned, whether they are people of the opposite sex or they are people from a different country, different background, different nationality. Your energy in terms of dealing with such people would be very high during this time, and you could come across some very interesting people during this time where you could build some meaningful connections. So try to leverage this transit in a positive manner in spite of Mars being in Maran Karak, because this Mars is being aspected by Saturn by its 3rd aspect, which is falling on the 7th house. So though it is trying to suppress some qualities of Mars, but Mars being a malefic or rather a neutral planet for you, it will help it channelize those energies really well and in the most appropriate way during this transit. You must remember that Mars is aspecting your ascendant during this transit by its 7th aspect, which is only a 50% aspect, but then it would want you to be absolutely active as far as this transit is concerned. One of the remedy for you would be to drink plenty of water and try to stay hydrated all the time during this transit. Now the other two aspects that Mars has, Mars will be aspecting your 10th house by its 4th special aspect. So the work that you're doing, the job that you have, your business, or anything that you do to survive in this world, to feed yourself and your family, that is being protected. So if you had certain insecurities related to your work, job, that is going to reduce, that is going to change during this time. It will foster and bring in new work opportunities that would be of your interest, that would match your skill sets and also your aspirations. So this is a perfect time for you to look for new and better opportunities. It is also aspecting your 2nd house by its 8th special aspect. So this protection is coming from your wealth, this protection is coming from those things that you store. Maybe you might find something very useful as far as certain things which are there in your house are concerned, which you have been trying to find out since a long time, and it will be quite useful for you. Your family is going to play a very important role in terms of protecting your work environment and the kind of food that you consume. So if you have a balanced diet, if you keep things in balance, and if you try to eat those food items which you like to eat, you could have very good energy during this time. But make sure that you try to keep your routine in a very balanced way as far as eating is concerned. Overall, I see this as a positive transit, as a rejuvenation transit, as a refresh transit, and I wish you the very best. Let's now talk about Scorpio Ascendants. For Scorpio Ascendants, Mars is an important planet because it becomes your Lagna Lord. It is the ruler of the Ascendant. Besides being the ruler of the Ascendant, Mars also rules your 6th house. So one common factor between the Ascendant 1st house and the 6th house is intelligence. Intelligence is all about your brain. So it sits within your 1st house. 6th house is the house of competition. And we need intelligence to surpass competition as well. So therefore Mars plays a very important role as far as these pursuits are concerned, also your education and what you do in life. It is the ruler of yourself, your overall body, personality, who you are in this world, your ability to think and make certain decisions which are in the best interest of yourself, your immunity. It also rules your 6th house of competition, deaths and diseases. It is the house of Shadripus or 6 enemies of the mind. This house also represents growth. We also see job from the 6th house. It is an Upachaya Bhava. It plays a very important role in our life. Therefore, Mars becomes an important planet for you. This Mars is making a transit in your 6th house itself. 3rd house, 6th house and 11th house. These are 3 houses where if there is a malefic that is making a transit, it generally delivers good results as far as transit is concerned and also from a placement point of view. So 6th house placement is considered positive for Mars, and also its transit is considered positive as well, because this is where it will be able to defeat your enemies. It will be able to help you to surpass some competition. It will be able to help you to win over competition. So in case you're looking for a new opportunity or a job, this could be a potentially favorable time for you to do it. Competitive exams, this could really give you an edge over the others. So anything that you do, if you try to build your skills, it will give you an edge over the other people that are involved here. Even at your workplace, this could be an opportunity for you to perform and shine and be recognized amongst your peers and amongst the people that you work with. So make sure that you create a lot of visibility during this time, during this transit, because it's an important transit for you. Now this Mars is aspecting your 9th house by its 4th special aspect. Your dharma, your fortune is being protected during this time. Father, that needs attention. So in case you want to build or maintain or establish or resolve certain relationship issues with your father, or communication, or also with your guru, this could be a potentially favorable time for you. Protect your dharma, listen to your dharma and your religion, or of course whatever you believe in. This could be the need of the hour. This Mars is also aspecting your 12th house by its 7th aspect, which is only a 50% aspect. So if you put some your energy in spiritual activities, it could be favorable for you. If you donate, this time period could be favorable for you, and donate to those who have health issues during this time. So donate in hospitals, donate to patients, and try to do things which could help others heal or get cured. Now this Mars is also aspecting your ascendant by its 8th special aspect. So you are the protector of your dharma. You will decide what is right, what is wrong for the best of your interest. Forget about what others think and follow the path of righteousness, which is in the best interest of yourself. Now you might have to be selfish during this time. Think about yourself first and your family, and of course then about the other people in this world. Try not to compromise on your decisions during this time in terms of what you feel is right, and take a stand. This is the most important message. You will have to take a stand for your relationships. You will have to take a stand for your partner. You will have to take a stand for yourself during this time. Do not shy away from it, but at the same time do not become a lot egoistic during this time. Overall, I see this as a very positive transit, and I wish you the very best. Let's now talk about Sagittarius ascendants. For Sagittarius ascendants, Mars becomes an important planet because it's your 5th lord and also your 12th lord. Jupiter has given Mars the lordship of the 5th house and the 12th house in your chart. The ruler of future, progress. We see kingdom from the 5th house, we see authority from the 5th house. This is also the house of corruption as far as certain negative traits are concerned. But I always say 5th lord is one of the most important planets in any chart for any ascendant. Therefore, for future related activities, for Purva Punya, which means your deeds from previous birth and how it will manifest and give you results as far as your current or present birth is concerned, is seen from the 5th house and the 5th lord. It also rules your 12th house, which is your ability to give, your losses, expenditure, and also your higher self consciousness. This is the house of bed comforts or sleep, and one of the most important houses for spirituality and all the spiritual practices in this world. So therefore Mars has an important lordship, an important role to play. This Mars is making a transit in your 5th house itself. So one thing is quite certain, any mantras that you use during this time will bring and give you a lot of energy. So if you use Shiva mantra, if you use mantras related to Vishnu, or even related to Ganpati or related to Mangal, it could bring in a lot of energy in your life. So use mantras as remedy during this time. This is a must have as far as the transit is concerned, because it is an auspicious transit. If you use mantras, it could bring you success, it could bring you progress, it could also help you in terms of resolving any kind of disputes that have been ongoing for a while, or if there have been delays in any of your work, in case you have a delay in getting a new job or starting a new business or making an important decision or signing a new contract where paperwork is involved, this could significantly resolve during this time, or you could find out a way in order to get some positive results as far as significations are concerned. Now this Mars will be aspecting your 8th house by its 4th special aspect. So your research will be protected. Anything that is hidden in your life is going to be protected. Your transformation is protected during this time. So it is a good time to learn astrology or Jyotish or any deep subjects where research is involved. So I would highly encourage you. And secondly, it is also a great time to practice mantras. It will be aspecting your 11th house by its 7th aspect, which is only a 50% aspect. So make sure that you try to be very careful in terms of dealing with other people, and particularly try to have cordial relationship with your friends. Avoid any kind of conflict during this time. Mars will also be aspecting your 12th house by its 8th special aspect. Your spirituality will protect your transformation, your ability to think about yourself and pen down your strengths, your higher self-consciousness, the way you donate and how much you donate to others, what you give, what you offer to others, is going to ensure that any change that is coming your way should be comfortable. So make donations, try to help those who are in need, worship whoever you believe in, use mantras to protect yourself, and of course your overall transformation. Now remember, this Mars is being aspected by Saturn by its 3rd aspect, but it is a good time for you to set your goals for the near future. Overall, I see this as a good transit, positive transit, and may this transit bring in a lot of energy in your life. Now let's talk about Capricorn Ascendants. For Capricorn Ascendants, Mars again is more of a neutral planet because it rules your 4th house and it also rules your 11th house. Now one of them is a Kendra house, therefore Mars has a neutral lordship that your Lagna Lord Saturn has given Mars. Now understand one thing, Mars for you rules the comfort space. It is the 4th lord, so it rules all your assets, real estate and things that you own, your mother, your relationship with your mother, your homeland, or where you feel most protected. It is also your 11th lord, the lord of Aya or income, and it plays a very important role in all things material in life. 11th house is also the house where we see bigger enemies from, where we see opposition from, and also your ability to influence other people and make friends, make connections. This Mars is making a transit in your 4th house itself in the sign of Aries. Now this is a complex place for Mars from a direction point of view, because in 10th house Mars gains directional strength. In the 4th house Mars is losing its direction. Moreover, there is a 3rd aspect of Saturn on Mars which is further trying to suppress this energy. So this time period will really make you step out of your comfort zone. Step out of your comfort zone and do something which is uncomfortable. Do not shy away from doing it. So your patience is being tested during this time, and this is the kind of an important message that you must understand. You might feel low in energy, you might feel that things are getting delayed, but you might have to get into any property or a real estate related transaction or dealing. So dealing with your assets, either vehicle, buying or selling, or either any kind of transactions related to real estate matters could be on the cards. Now whether it will be favorable for you, whether you buy something or not, whether that is going to be fructified, this depends on your ongoing dasha antardasha that is there. You might need to also watch out your mother's health during this time and try to build credible relationships. Maybe be low key for the first few weeks. This is quite important for you. I don't consider this as a very bad transit for you, for the fact that Mars is also one of the significators of the 4th house because it represents Bhumi or land. From that aspect, it's not a bad transit, but it's just that the significations are being lost somewhere. Saving grace is that the Mars is in its own sign of Aries. It requires you to declutter your house, clean your surroundings, make sure that you check all corners of your house and tidy it up. You might realize during this time that some part of your house is quite cluttered during this time. So it is the time for you to declutter and bring in some positive energies here. The other remedy for you could be to work in your kitchen. Be an equal contributor in household chores or whatever you do. This is the ultimate remedy for you. Mars is aspecting your 7th house by its 4th special aspect. So your relationship is being protected during this time. It is protecting your spouse, your business, partnership. These are some of the significations. You will have a lot of energy as far as your relationship matters are concerned. That is pretty sure. But make sure you listen to your spouse, you listen to your partner, because they could help you channelize your decisions accordingly. Mars is also aspecting your 10th house by its 7th aspect, so it might bring some new opportunity for you. Even if it's a 50% aspect, it could bring in some new work related opportunity which could be favorable for you. It is aspecting your 11th house. Situation is not that bad because towards the end your gains and things that you own, they are somehow protecting your well-being. Your friends are going to play a very important role in protecting some of these significations. So take advice of other people, try to expand your network, try to build some credible relationships. Overall, I see this as a mixed transit and I wish you the very best. Let's now talk about Aquarius Ascendants. For Aquarius Ascendants, Mars is again a neutral planet. It rules an important Kendra house and it rules your 3rd house, your 3rd lord and the 10th lord. 3rd house is the house of valor, courage, change, growth, younger siblings, your communication and how you use your wealth, how you channelize your wealth. This is also seen from the 3rd house. It rules your 10th house of work, karma, your actions in the society, your profession, job, and what you do in order to sustain in this world, your ability to sustain, and your overall purpose, vision, mission, values, all of that is seen from the 10th house itself. It plays a very important role. This Mars is making a transit in your 3rd house itself. Now, interestingly, Mars is the significator of the 3rd house. So, from a signification point of view, it is a positive and a blessed transit. Mars is in the sign of Aries, which is its Mool Trikona sign. So, it will put Mars at work. So, from that perspective as well, the significations are strong. So, Mars is in great strength during this transit. The only fact is it is being aspected by your Lagna Lord Saturn by its 3rd aspect, which continues to transit in your ascendant. It will make you disciplined and it will bring in a lot of energy in terms of anything that you do around this transit. However, somehow you might have to put in a lot more extra efforts as far as workplace progress is concerned. You will have to demonstrate valor, your courage. You do not need to sit back. You do not need to step out of any kind of conflict or any kind of decision making or any kind of discussion. Step into this discussion, express your opinion and make your opinion count to your stakeholders and other people. So, demonstrate a lot of courage and valor in anything that you do during this time. The ultimate remedy for you during this time would be to put all your energy, attention and enthusiasm in doing things where your hands are in use. Write a journal or write your notes. Go the old school way, work in your kitchen, exercise, use hands to exercise, work out in the gym. This could be a potentially favorable remedy for you. Anything that you do, even if you do gardening in the day and use your hands to do anything, that is the ultimate remedy for you during this time. Make sure that you put all your energy and enthusiasm in these pursuits. Mars is going to be aspecting your 6th house by its 4th aspect. So, your daily routine and chores are being protected. Your job is being protected during this time because it's an interesting and important transit. You could have some change in your current workplace, or you could also get some new opportunities during this time because Mars is 3rd from your ascendant. And if it has some linkage from your moon sign as well, this could really trigger a change or even a movement in case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive during this time. Mars is aspecting your 9th house by its 50% 7th aspect. So, your dharma is going to be put at test. Make sure that you protect your dharma. Any journeys that you take, if it is spiritual in nature and even for leisure, could bring in a sense of joys and energy in your life. Could bring in a sense of joy and energy in your life. Mars is aspecting your 10th house by its 8th aspect. So, this protection of your daily routine is coming from your work or the kind of job that you do. It is certainly going to have some sort of change as far as your work is concerned, which could be different. So, you could be given some additional responsibility. Do not shy away from it because this could play a very important role in your overall progress or your success. Overall, I see this as a positive transit and I wish you the very best. Let's now talk about Pisces Ascendants. For Pisces Ascendants, Mars is an important planet because it becomes your 2nd lord and your 9th lord. Therefore, it plays a very important role in wealth related matters. 2nd house is the house of consumption. It is the house of storage. It is the house of family, your wealth and how and what you accumulate in this world. We also see food and your speech from the 2nd house. Mars also rules 9th house of fortune, bhagya, your dharma, long journeys, your overall spiritual quotient, your father, guru, mentor, teacher and your higher learning. It is the most important trinal house. This Mars is making a transit in your 2nd house itself in the sign of Aries. Your 2nd lord and 9th lord is making a transit in the 2nd house. So, this is a Dhan Yoga in transit. So, as a matter of fact, if you're looking forward to having an increment, any sort of incentive, any sort of gain, this is a potentially favorable time. For those people who are looking forward to having a secondary source of income, I would encourage you to have a side gig in place or at least try and plan for something secondary because chances are quite favorable for you to create a secondary source of income. Mars during this transit is aspecting your 5th house by its 4th special aspect. So, your future is being protected during this time by the virtue of the decisions that you take now. But while taking these decisions and particularly while dealing with others, you have to be very careful of what you say, how you say, because once you use your words and even your language and your aggressiveness, you cannot take those words back. You cannot bring back that time. So, avoid any kind of unnecessary quarrels or arguments with people. Try to be polite and be respectful towards others. Mars is also aspecting your 8th house by its 7th aspect, which is a 50% aspect only. So this could bring in an increase in your research abilities or capabilities, and also help you deal with any kind of change that is coming through. Mars is aspecting your 9th house by its 8th special aspect. So your fortune is going to protect your future. Your dharma, or the kind of decisions that you take which are right in nature, will protect and support your progress, will help you become more progressive in nature. It is quite a progressive transit, but at the same time, another remedy for you would be to watch what you eat. Try to avoid those kind of foods which you feel very hard as far as digestion is concerned. So this is something which you will have to watch out for. Drink plenty of water, stay as much hydrated as you can during this transit to achieve maximum results, and also keep your ego aside. This is a time to spend more time with your family. Be quite energized as far as your household matters is concerned. Take active part in it. Play an important role as far as your overall collaboration is concerned with the people that you work with or you are with. Have a lot of demonstrate team spirit. This is the kind of nature attitude which how others will look up to you as a very energized person, as a person who comes with good thinking and at the same time a good attitude. Overall, I see this as a positive transit and I wish you the very best. So this was about Mars's transit in the sign of Aries, which is the transit of the month of June and an important transit for this year. Let me also share my personal experience with you. Whenever I'm making or recording a video on Mars or Mangal, I sit with a bottle of water, a full bottle of water, and I end up consuming it. Sometimes I drink 2 bottles of water as well in about an hour's time, because whenever it's the fact that Mars has so much of fire, it dries up my throat, and this is the reality that I'd like to share with you. So this is the kind of energy. So if you use mantras related to Mars, or if you think about Mars, talk about Mars, it of course asks you to drink more water. That is the kind of message that I have for all of you. Stay hydrated, embrace the summer heat. May Mars bring a lot of immunity, passion and courage in anything that we do, and make our decisions go right. Once again, thank you for subscribing to my channel. Stay connected for more interesting videos. God bless you all.